Deputy Aodhan Riordain, 2.5 minutes, Deputy.
I say, being an advocate for X-case legislation has been a lonely place. My party, the Labour Party, has fought a lonely battle on this front for 20 years. Before the last general election, no other party mentioned the X-case at all. We stood alone on that platform and suffered the consequences. We as a party take the flak, the vulgar letters, the protests, the abusive phone calls. It is our family members who are targeted. It is our homes that are picketed and our campaigning that is systematically disrupted. It is us who suffer the dirty tricks of other candidates from parties and independents who scaremonger in whispered tones at doorsteps and laugh at us when the inevitable happens when we knock on the same doors. But we have no difficulty with this when we know that we are right, when we know that what we want is to protect women and to vindicate their constitutional rights and to vindicate the sacred vote of the people cast in 1992 and 2002. Neither I nor my party have any apology to make in the course that we are taking, because we know what it will result in: legislation. Legislation presented to this House by the sovereign government of the land. Legislation scrutinised by the Office of the Attorney General. Legislation that will survive the many challenges that will inevitably follow in every court in the land. I want to thank on the floor of this House the hundreds of my constituents who have contacted me horrified by recent events, determined not to be intimidated anymore and demanding legislation. I also want to pay tribute to the dignity of those who have taken part in vigils outside this House, in fact this very evening, who have marched through Dublin City and have attended demonstrations throughout the world. My own sister in London said, "My stomach feels sick to think of Savita," flash memories of those people shouting at us during the election campaign. What we have in this debate from one side is a corruption of language. How dare you call yourself pro-life if you would let a situation persist that endangers women's lives rather than introduce legislation which the Supreme Court and Irish people have demanded? How dare you call anyone pro-abortion? I don't know anyone who is pro-abortion. Abortion is always a tragedy, but a greater tragedy is to risk the life of a mother to satisfy the washed-out ideology of a failed Ireland. I have no interest in political perception or showmanship. I vote to win. Unfortunately, this legislation before us tonight has no chance of success in this House and a smaller chance of success if it was to be challenged in the forecourts. I am, however, convinced that we will legislate as a government. Let us not be divided by tactics, but rather united by determination. We have more allies within this House now on this issue than we have ever had before. We refuse to be intimidated anymore. The day is gone when the fanatical tactics of a few dictate the considered compassionate view of the many. This is a government that takes its responsibilities seriously. We will act as a government so that no woman or medical professional can be in any doubt as to their constitutional and legislative rights and responsibilities.
Thank you, Deputy.
And let's conclude on this. We have been ashamed as a people internationally too often in the recent past. On this issue, we will not be found wanting.